Then there was a point about understanding the nature of self. So he gave the example that the self is like an onion, that if you remove all the layers of the onion one by one, where is the onion? There's no onion left. It needs all of the layers together to then be able to be called an onion. And the problem with self, the problem is it thinks, I think I can exist independently, alone, by myself. That's what the idea of self or the self is. It doesn't see that it depends on, is made up of the 5 aggregates, rupa, vedana, sanya, sankara, vijnana. It's made up of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind. And without which it cannot exist. So these are like all the layers of the onion that form the self, or together are taken as I, myself. But what he doesn't see is that as soon as any of these things breaks or falls, or you realize that it won't last forever, it's impermanent, then where is self? Where is this? Where is I? So what happens to me, I, myself, when just one part of the body breaks? Then where is all my feeling, my memory, my calculations, my dreams, my past, my future, my everything? It cannot be there anymore. So yeah, the self, the problem is, what is self? Self thinks I am first, and then I might have a body, I have a mind, I feel, I remember, I have eyes, I have ears, but he doesn't see that actually it's the other way around. He needs all of these things to be there in order to exist. And that's what he doesn't see. That's why if you see that the self is like an onion, that is only called an onion because it has all of these different layers together, then it's not a self anymore. Then it doesn't belong to you anymore. Then it realizes that myself, this onion, it just depends on all of these things that are not mine, that I have no control over, that are all impermanent, that are unpleasant, and that are not self, that are not mine. So he was saying that this is what he means when he was giving the mantra that he uses for himself: rupa, vedana, sanya, sankara, vijnana, anicca, dukkha, anatta. Where is self? Where is self when all the 5 aggregates, like your whole body and mind, is impermanent? You can't decide when it lives or when it dies, when it is there or when it's not there. Together with this point, there's another point that he said was important to see as well. Is like, you don't need to destroy the onion in order to to see that this onion full of layers of aggregates, of senses, and an arahan even, he still has a body, he still has feelings, still has memory, still has intentions, he still has all of that stays, but it's not taken as mine. It's not his aggregates anymore. The attachment is gone. So while in a way you can say that nothing changes, the same body, same mind, but at the same time everything changes because there is no attachment to it. So therefore there is no fear, there is no suffering, there is no love, no hate. The problem is not the aggregate, the problem is not the onion with all its different layers. The problem is that you kind of make the mistake of thinking that it's, the self is this sort of independent, permanent entity that is the thing that is first. And he doesn't see that always he is second. He's depending on, like the onion depends on his layers to be an onion. The self depends on his body, his mind, his feeling, his intention, his memory, all these things that are just changing, impermanent, and not in his control. There was a point about then attachment. It goes also in the subject of self. So he was explaining that attachment to this body, to feeling, especially to agreeable feeling, the attachment is what forms the self. They're inseparable. It's not the self is attached, and the attachment to the body and mind is what self is. That's why, like with the example or the previous subject, the arahan, still has the body and mind. He still has all of these things that previously were a self for him, previously were mine, but now his attachment to them is gone. So now the self with them is gone.